welcome back to the Carton Show. Chris McMonigle, Craig Carton, and thrilled to have a dear friend of mine joining us in studio. And I didn't realize till last night, reading the New York Post, that James Dolan hasn't spoken publicly since he joined me and Evan Roberts 3 years ago, and now he's back. Happy New Year, and thank you for joining us.
Happy New Year. This is my biannual confession.
Is it that nobody asks you to speak?
Oh, yeah, that's it. No, I want to speak all the time, but nobody ever asks me.
It's like the pretty girl at the bar. No one ever asked me out, so I don't have any dates.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Right.
Or maybe not. Or maybe not. There's a lot to talk to you since I guess you haven't spoken of a lot of Knicks and Rangers issues in the last few years. Let me start with the Knicks. Obviously, the great run last year. Looks like they're on their way to a special season this year. But in the process, you also made a decision, you and Leon Rose, to relieve Tom Thibodeau of his head coaching duties. And Mike comes in, has done a really nice job thus far. Can you walk us through what the thinking was at the time you made it? If it was just Leon coming to you saying, we need a change, if you guys collectively thought the team needed a different voice in the locker room, and what was the genesis of moving on from Tom?
Well, look, Leon and I talk about everything, right? Even not basketball stuff.
Got it.
So, the team is really built on the shoulders of Tom Thibodeau. Right, he built that core. Sure. Right, we went as far as we did last year, and so you really got to take your hat off to Tom, and the job that he did. But we did come to the conclusion that we had an idea of how we wanted to organize the team, and actually it goes for both teams, and and that meant we needed to evolve, right? Actually, beyond the old traditional coaching,
right?
Formulas, et cetera. And we tried to work that with Tom. It really wasn't his thing. I don't
want to put words in your mouth. From that, do you mean like not using the bench that much, the style of play?
No,
what are you referencing there?
That's some of it, right? But it is much more about style of leadership. Right, collaboration versus sort of
lone wolf type of thing.
Yeah,
got it.
So thank you for giving me the word.
I got you.
That's better than the one I was thinking of. But because of the way, particularly basketball, but also hockey too, the way the sport's evolving, the how much more complicated it is. We're very, very big on development in both clubs. Because you can't. It's not like the old days, like the old Yankees, where you get Reggie Jackson and this guy that put together a team. It's almost impossible to do that in the NBA. You have to home grow, some of your talent, and that also builds up trade currency, et cetera. But it's a development thing. And that's a team of people. There's literally 20 people, right, who are specifically, dedicated to developing the players, to getting their skill levels up, to getting the strategy on the court in, right.
So part of that's develop players that become trade pieces, develop players that obviously become valuable depth guys off your bench.
Right, and that's important for the development of a franchise, right. And that really, look, Tom liked development, but he didn't really.
Well, he's a guy that, he likes playing the veterans. He likes playing the guys that, buy into his system. Right. And guys like that, and he has throughout his career have a shelf life, right? And he got to an Eastern Conference final. You guys collectively had to have felt that while the run was great, and he gets a lot of credit for being a part of the Knick turnaround, that you couldn't win a title with him. That had to be the thinking, right? Or it'd be unlikely that you would.
I won't say you can't win a title with Tom Thibodeau. That I don't necessarily know that's true. It's just that if you want to build a long-term compete for the, you
needed a different guy.
You need somebody who's much more of a collaborator than Tom was, but still, you you really, Tom is still a great coach, right? He should coach again in the NBA. If I had a franchise that I was, just starting with, et cetera, he would be a gold mine to get. And he was like that for us when we first started and he first came in.
Sure.
He brought discipline, right? He brought strategy.
He was the right guy at the right time.
Right. He was right. He brought us all that way. But we really felt we needed to make a change to go the rest of the way.
Now, did you go to Tom and discuss these changes, or did you just and take his?
No, we decided to surprise him with.
No, well, I'm saying, like, because you mentioned it wasn't.
Guess what?
I'm saying you mentioned it wasn't his thing. Was there discussions about possibly getting him to changes, and it felt like it wasn't going to happen, or did you just make the assumption Tom wasn't the kind of coach who could make the changes you were looking for?
We talked to Tom all the time.
Right.
Right. And look. So I don't want to get too deep into what the interaction, but I would say that whole last year we were talking to Tom about where we wanted to go, et cetera. And
he's a stubborn guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said it.
He's
stubborn.
He'd probably tell you that he's stubborn, but he'd also tell you that he's right.
Which is the problem with being
what
stubborn.
stubborn people say.
So, one of the big names that Knick fans have fantasized about, who it's come out that he wants to be a Knick or wanted to be a Knick. How close were we to acquiring Giannis? And I'm not saying right now, I know you can't meddle right now. He's an active player in the league. But before this season started, there were reports that came out that there was the possibility of a trade a year ago. Any truth to that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Really?
No. And I think, look, we love our team right now.
Right.
Right. They have chemistry. They all like each other. I've never seen a locker room more, just more copacetic.
Right.
There's a lot of energy in there, and I don't. Leon can always overrule me, but I don't see us making a big change because we don't have. We got to keep building up this group. Right. This group can win a championship.
Yep.
I believe that.
Well, I think they proved that when they beat the Spurs, and the Spurs won 3 straight against the Thunder.
Yeah.
Obviously, right now, they seem like they're a little stressed, a little pressed. Obviously, you lose a few games in a row. Yeah. People start panicking.
Dealing with some injuries.
But the core and the depth of this team is different than what, I've been a Knicks fan since the 70s. There's not been a lot of Knicks teams that are this deep.
Look how far we got with our group last year.
Right.
Right. And then take a look at who was playing and who wasn't playing, right? And we had injuries going into it. We're going into this season, into the second half of this season. Basically, Josh is still out
till Monday, I think, right?
And and Landry is coming back soon. We got depth. And if we stay healthy, we'll go into the playoffs in much better condition than we went into the playoffs last year.
For sure. Now, one of the things you guys accomplished this year was winning the Emirates Cup, right, in Vegas. I went on the other show that I was doing and I'm doing earlier in the day because people know I'm a Knicks fan. They obviously know that the Knicks are my favorite team of all my teams. And they're like, banner. I go, I can guarantee you we are not raising a banner. Not that we're not proud of winning.
Yes, no, we are going to raise a banner.
No, you're not.
We're going to raise the NBA championship banner. That's the banner we want to raise.
Yeah.
I said for all the accomplishments way back in the day the Knicks had, James Dolan and the New York Knicks are not, as much as it's great to win. And I think what Mike Brown said afterwards, which was important, teams have to learn how to win. That was a playoff game. It was a Game 7 atmosphere. Spurs are a really good basketball team. That fourth quarter was awesome. And I'm a fan of the Cup because you get special games like that in the regular season.
Yeah,
But I know the NBA wants teams to raise a banner. The Lakers said no for a while. Eventually they did because LeBron wanted one. Milwaukee said no for a while. Eventually they did. Was there ever a thought we're going to raise an Emirates Cup banner at Madison Square Garden?
No.
Got it.
Nice. I think that makes a lot of people happy.
You're saving it for the real championship.
I never had that thought. I probably would have thrown the. Oh, that's not true. But we want an NBA championship.
Right.
We don't want the consolation prize.
And how do you guys view the Cup in general? We know the players clearly want to play. How do you guys view the Cup in a game that doesn't count in the regular season? You could argue the finals is the least important game that you play in it. What's the feeling of the organization going through it, knowing you're playing games that possibly, you were talking about the injuries you're dealing with now, all that kind of ramifications of playing games that technically don't matter?
Well, it was only one game that didn't matter.
Correct.
Right? All the other ones counted.
Right.
So, I mean, it's all equal. I mean, I think we felt good about the Cup, right?
Sure, you should.
Yeah. Right, and the way, I mean, I was excited, to be honest. I mean, when we played San Antonio, I thought we were going to play OKC. Right. And I was like, okay.
They did too, but
And I thought, this is going to be a great preview. But maybe that was the preview. Maybe the
Spurs
finals
beat them 3 straight.
is Knicks Spurs. I don't know. But, to get a chance at midseason, right, to try out what you're going to be like at the end of the season.
So you liked it.
So it was exciting. And I was very proud of the guys that did a great job. And so we're proud to have the Emirates Cup, but we're going to hang a championship.
A real banner.
A real banner, right.
A couple more Nick questions, then we'll get to the Rangers here in a second. Is Leon long-term committed? Do we have to worry as Knick fans that Leon Rose wakes up after this season and says, I had a good run, went to the Eastern Conference Final, maybe win an NBA championship? Or is he locked into you guys long-term? Because he's the only GM that never talks.
Yeah, we don't hear from him.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to ask Leon, but Leon doesn't answer questions.
That's right.
He's cut from the same cloth that I am. No, as far as I know, Leon's on with us for the long term. We don't ever talk about an end to this. We have a 5-year plan. Right now, we're actually on more like a 2 to 3 year plan.
Right. No, you built to win now, especially with the injuries to Indiana and Boston.
We didn't count on those. We were planning on playing those guys. And I wouldn't mind if we did,
I'm happy those guys are hurt. I want to say,
right, you know what?
It's been a long time without a championship.
I want that pace of revenge.
The easiest road possible.
I don't want any asterisks.
No. I told you this before. When you win a championship, 5 years later, nobody looks back and goes, oh, yeah, but Tatum was out from Boston. We just celebrate champions, and we need a championship.
We do.
You need a championship.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
As much as anyone. As you know, I'm not the biggest hockey guy, but I have hockey guys and gals in my life. They want to know, knowing you coming out on the show today, Chris Drury. Obviously, you're not happy. No one is with the current record and the way the Rangers have played. Do you firmly believe still in Chris Drury being the man to make your personnel decisions?
Yes, absolutely. He and Mike Sullivan, right?
Yep, coach.
New coach,
right, are installing a new culture into that club, and that does not happen overnight.
So you're being patient.
I'm being patient. We're not out of it by any means.
Yeah.
We're still very much in it. And we have the personnel that could, I mean, if they pull it together. I mean, what they did to Florida down in Florida was, somewhat impressive. Just one game, but
So you see some signs that make you.
But culture doesn't turn around overnight.
What was the problem with the culture?
Well, it's a good question. Right,
because they went for the President's Trophy just a couple years ago to now really struggling.
Right,
this season. And last season, no playoffs.
And I think we thought that they needed a change in the coach. Right, this coach is a culture coach. He's also a collaborator and a builder of teams. And I think that it's going to take a little while for Mike and to get in there. But what I can tell you about Mr. Drury from the day I hired him, right, is Chris Drury is a winner and a competitor. He's won himself, right? He can't stand to lose. So yes, I mean he's probably not happy right now. I know he's not happy right now. Neither is Mike, right? But you have to be patient. The team has to gel together. They have to see that they can win. They have to believe in themselves. I think the team from last year didn't really believe in themselves, and that made it hard. And so, installing that kind of culture especially, you know, I think hockey is even harder because there's more players, right?
Right.
That's going to take a while, but don't give up on my team this year.
No. You said you're going to the game. What's going on with the home playing at Madison Square Garden? Really struggling this year in the building. Is that a confidence thing? Is that one of those things?
That's I think another culture thing.
Yeah, another culture thing.
And also shots on goal are low, right?
Yeah, I mean they're getting shut out consistently.
And yet I have to say, look, I've been watching hockey since I was 12.
Right.
They play pretty well. Right. Then they have these moments, right, where things go bad, right, and they're find it hard to pull themselves up. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But they just have to learn to do it. They have to believe in themselves and I'm
fascinated by this.
What's that?
You historically have not been known as the most patient of owners. And I'm going, who am I talking to?
Well, I mean, he's been patient with the Rangers. Glenn Sather kind of ran things for a long time.
You can't change coaches every year. You can't change GMs every year. That's not a recipe for success. But I'm looking at you, listening, going, where's James Dolan at? This is amazing to me.
Look, as an owner, you have to be patient, right? The guys set out a plan. When I get impatient is when we veer off the plan, right?
Got it.
Reach for a shiny thing, right?
Giannis. Got it. Got it.
Yeah. And think we can, win a championship or build a championship team in one fell swoop. I've been at this now for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Right. And I can tell you that, it does happen once in a while, but I don't think that's the way that, I don't think that's how we're going to win.
Talking to the owner, of course, of the Knicks, the Rangers, the Garden, Radio City, the Sphere in Vegas, which you've not been out there yet. It's a must-attend to bucket list item out there in Vegas as well, James Dolan. It's a tough question to ask because they're both like your children, Knicks and Rangers. Do you have a preference if only one of them won, or which one wins the next one that you'd like to see?
I'll be equally as happy.
Knicks, huh?
It'll be a hell of a problem to have. Let's have that problem.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me, based on your evolving relationship with the fan base, and this started in the postseason last year, where you became a bit of a Pied Piper after games. You're leaving the Madison Square Garden, a bunch of kids outside on 33rd and 7th, and all of a sudden the window rolls down, and they're not looking for Greg Poupon, and you got game balls. Was that your idea? Was it totally organic the first time it happened, and now you just see the pleasure on these kids' faces, so you enjoy doing it? Walk me through how that started.
It started off with the Garden of Dreams.
Right.
And we always save some seats for Garden of Dreams kids.
Which, if you don't know Garden of Dreams, it truly is one of the great charities in New York City. And they put on these great events throughout the year to raise money for these at-risk kids.
So I started, I had a Garden of Dreams kid always used to sit next to me. Not the same one, a different one every time. And I gave him a game ball, right, especially if we won. And then... I drove out and saw everybody, and I said, you know what, I should
start doing
this, right? And so I do, and the fact that you're now publicizing it on, on the radio, et cetera, probably means there's going to be a bigger crowd.
You need more balls.
Right. I only come down with 2, right? I try and find, the youngest, fans, et cetera, and, and just give them a ball and thank them for coming to the game.
Couple tough questions, not sports related. Obviously, there's been battles throughout the years between MSG and certain cable, companies. I'm very well aware of it. I'm an Xfinity guy in New Jersey. We don't get MSG. You have the great app, if you can watch, obviously, every Knicks game on the Gotham Sports app in conjunction with Yes, of course, the New York Yankees. We have it because I got to watch the Knicks, and Xfinity won't allow me to watch the Knicks. Do you see a fix to that at any time in the future or not?
It's evolving. Right. I don't think that. I think over the long term, you're probably not going to get your games from the cable company. They're probably going to
app specific.
They're going to be streaming.
Right.
Yeah. You'll get a bunch of games nationally, right? About 30 out of 80, and the rest will come to you streaming, and that's just it's just the evolution of media.
Do you like the NBA and the Knicks taking the game to Abu Dhabi and seeing Knicks fans, basketball fans, the preseason games and having a bunch of guys out there? Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, basketball for sure is an international sport, and so it makes sense for the NBA to do that. Abu Dhabi is one of my favorite places, and so.
And they're a partner of the Knicks, obviously.
They're also a partner in Sphere.
Right. They're building the second Sphere, if I'm not mistaken.
Building the second Sphere in Abu Dhabi, yeah. It's a great place. You should go.
Most people don't have that on their small list of my next vacations. My cousin, as you know, lives in Abu Dhabi, but most people don't have that on a short list of vacations.
But they will.
You think so?
I think they will. Yeah, because that whole area is developing, especially under the UAE. Right, they're building it out. They're transferring from oil into other industries, including entertainment, et cetera. And that culture is developing there. And I think if they ever get through, the Middle East ever gets through all of their political troubles, right?
Cross your fingers on that.
They could be the next U.S.
You have any interest in buying the Jets and saving us, or no?
No, I have no interest in buying any more teams.
Did you ever have an interest?
My dad did.
He did?
He did.
For the Jets?
He tried to buy the Jets, yes.
Really? Yes. Is that a well-known fact that I missed out on?
I don't know if I've heard that.
Was he going to move them to Long Island? Was that part of his dream?
No.
That's why I'm doing the Jets?
No, this is a long time ago, but I remember meeting with, I guess it was Parcells.
Okay.
Right. And, talking about, what would it be like if we owned the Jets. Wow. Parcells told us, he said, look, if I'm going to be there, I want you to understand that I'm not just the cook. Right, he says, I also do the shopping for the groceries.
Yeah, his famous line. He used that a few times, that line.
Right. He used it at dinner parties.
Can you imagine the ego on that?
Yeah.
Like, here you have a family that's got the means, financial means, to buy the team.
Yeah.
You're basically a part-time coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not like a 10-year coach for the Jets. He was, Giants and Patriots. And you have the balls to say to the man who might write the check to become your boss, let me tell you the rules of engagement.
He didn't say it that way. He
might have.
He said, the way he said it was, if I'm going to keep, and eventually he moved, right? I mean,
right.
If I'm going to keep doing this, right, this is how I want to do it. This is how
I operate.
Right.
I guess.
That's okay. I'd rather hear that than hear some baloney that's not true.
Yeah.
So should Knicks fans, before we let you go, and obviously you're going to the Ranger game right now, should Knicks fans expect any type of significant deal by the trade deadline? No. You think it's as is, these 12 guys good enough to make the run and win a championship?
That's what I think our plan is, yes. I talk to Leon every day, and, look, nothing's impossible. I won't rule anything out, but who do you want to lose? You don't get something without giving something. Right. Who do you want to lose? Right.
I can tell you who I don't want to lose. There's about 5 or 6 of them. Like, I think one of the most underappreciated basketball players in the league today is OG Anunoby. Like, I would hate to lose OG Anunoby. As much as guys like Giannis are great, every championship team has a guy like that.
Yep.
He's awesome.
You look at the old Knicks, the 69-73 Knicks, right? He's kind of little like the Dave DeBusschere.
Does a little of everything.
Right.
He's made himself a much better outside shooter, especially the corner three, which he's great at now. But great defensive player.
Great defensive player. And when he locks in on even on some of those stars that we play, I mean, he doesn't completely shut them down. But they don't get to play their game. Not if OG's guarding them. So
this is the team.
This is the team. And do we view it as that? Like the Yankees World Series of bust you mentioned, wanted to hang the championship banner. Anything short of an NBA championship is a disappointing seation for the New York Knicks. Is that how we're taking it right now?
Yeah, I would say the look. I mean, we want to get to the finals, right? And we should win the finals, right? But when it comes to this is sports. You guys, this is your business,
right?
Anything can happen in sports, but getting to the finals, we absolutely got to do, right? winning the finals, we should win.
So Mike Brown better know that.
I mean, listen, Thibodeau took him to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 30 years. I would think that's the expectation, right? NBA Finals, or is an extreme disappointing season.
Yeah, the Pistons are the only team.
Right.
They don't scare you, but the Pistons are a good basketball team.
There are a couple of good basketball teams out there. There are
The
a
only
bunch of
team
them.
I concern myself with is Detroit, to be honest. I'm not worried about anybody else.
Well,
no one else is going to beat you in a 7-game series.
They play hard, right? So if we meet up with the Pistons.
And they play the Pistons tonight, by the way. So if you're not going to the Ranger game, you definitely check that out.
Right. And watch, they're missing a couple guys, too. But they play a very physical game. So, in a 7-game series, it can be a different kind of battle.
Do you get bothered as the guy that writes the check with not how much the guys make? We can make the argument they deserve it. They have a special skill. But where the sport's changed in your ownership over the 30 some odd years, where now it's, you only have to play 65 games. You have to still be eligible for postseason awards. Or, hey, load management's going to be a thing. Do you get bothered, again, as the guy that, that writes the check, that we're not asking these guys to do that much. We're saying play basketball. Take it seriously. We understand a lot of work goes into it. That guys are finding reasons not to play basketball a couple times a week.
Not our guys.
They do lead the league in most minutes played. But overall, for the sport, is it an issue to you?
I just worry about my teams, right? For me, I look at the team, and and I know obviously all the players, and they want to play, right? Whether we play 65 or 82 games, they want to play every game,
right?
One of the issues that Mike has to deal with is that he has to, he's still bringing up guys, right? So, I mean, we got some young guys who are
getting meaningful minutes.
Right. The Tyler, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got to find minutes for him. Right.
Because he's earned them.
Right. And we need them to get minutes so that when we get to the playoffs, right, like when we played Indiana, we were like, we were bereft. Right.
Right.
That
and when you had to go to the bench, you didn't have anything to lean back on throughout the season.
They didn't have all that experience, right, et cetera. But they still did very well, right? But now I expect that we're going to be, we're going to see a lot more of the bench, right? That's Mike's style. Anyway.
Yeah, he went 12 deep a couple nights ago at the Garden. Every guy on the bench got into a game. They all played meaningful minutes. Last thing on Thibodeau. Sorry to go back to it. Do you think he was surprised? Or do you think he kind of saw it coming just based on, interpersonal relationships and how things had evolved for him?
I think he was mildly surprised.
You do?
Right. Like I said, he's a great coach, right? So he had probably a reason to be surprised.
And do you still enjoy being a professional team owner in New York City? That's a loaded question of the day.
Let me tell you something about ownership. Ownership is not an achievement, right?
Okay.
You own something, right? You have a beautiful car, right? You own it. That's not an achievement, right? If you built it, okay,
sure,
right? Then when you drive around, you can feel like you have an achievement. I always want to try and achieve something. So I'm still enjoying participating in the team building, et cetera. But I don't fool myself. Right? The ownership's not an achievement.
Well, it's a great way to end it. You know how much I appreciate you coming in. Let's not wait 3 more years to do this again.
Well,
and you're buying lunch as always.
Yeah, I'm buying lunch. Yeah.
James Dolan, everybody. You got the Rangers at the Garden. You got the Knicks in Detroit tonight. I appreciate the friendship, and thank you for coming in and be part of day one of this new show. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Everybody keep listening, right?
Yes, no doubt. James Dolan, everybody. Quick break.
Let's go get a win at the Garden.